So the first one is personal responsibility. Now, this is all the things that they need to be able to do to manage themselves. And it's all the things, right? But some of the top things are clothing, that they can do buttons and snaps and zippers, especially to zip up their own coat. And if you live somewhere that's really cold and gets snowy, that they know how to put on all their winter gear and in the appropriate order, right? We don't want them putting on their gloves and then trying to zip up their coat. That's just not going to work. So helping them to know all of that. Now, that's not something they need to know in September, but it's what we're working towards, right? And then when it comes to shoes, if they can't tie their shoe well, buy them Velcro shoes until they can do their shoes well. And there's lots of ways you can practice this, but sending them to school, especially in kinder, when they can't tie their shoe, that's really hard for the teacher to manage 20 kids with shoes that need to be tied. So help the teacher out, send them in Velcro, and then keep practicing. And then when they're successful, then you can celebrate by getting a brand new pair of tennis shoes that they can tie themselves. Now, when it comes to food, you also need to be proactive on this one. If they are buying lunch at school, or it's free lunch and everybody gets lunch at school, you need to practice the things that they are going to have there. So if milk is coming in a carton, you need to teach them how to open a carton effectively. If their milk comes in a box, then how they can insert the straw. They need to know how to do that. Sometimes schools give out prepackaged things, whether it's crackers or some fruit or veggies come prepackaged. Teach them to look for the little notch so that's your sign where to tear, and then to tear gently and carefully so your food doesn't go flying. I mean, it's one thing if your apples go flying, but a whole another level if you're sending goldfish and chips flying everywhere. Now, if your kid is going to take lunch to school most of the time, then you are going to want to practice using the things you're sending them with. So help them to practice opening and closing the packages that you're using, whether it's a juice pouch or a thermos. If you're sending Ziploc baggies, you'd be surprised at how many kids don't know how to use a Ziploc baggie. So how to open it, and then if they need to reseal it, how that works. If you're sending a container, like say your kid does leftovers, that's great. But make sure they know how to open up that Tupperware, Rubbermaid, whatever you're using, the lid, so they can get to it, but then also that they know how to put it back on effectively, because there are always leftovers. And if they don't put that lid back on to seal everything back in well, and then the lunch gets jostled, you're going to have yourself a big old mess inside that lunchbox when they get home. So help yourself out on that one.